whenever you want to turn on the system, just turn it on down here from the PC, and that'll turn on the whole x-ray machine.
Nice.
That button over there turns the x-ray machine on and off.
Oh, that green one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't use that necessarily
Okay.
unless it's like an emergency, like you need to shut the system off. It's more of just like if you just wanted to shut the x-ray machine down, I recommend always turning it on and off from the computer.
Okay.
So that way it shuts everything off and everything goes off the way it's supposed
So
to.
just shut down the computer like normal, and that'll turn everything
That'll
else
turn
off.
everything off.
Okay.
Right. And when you first boot it up, it's going to show just a blank screen like this
Okay.
with your applications. To take an x-ray, we're going to go to VX View.
VX view.
Little right there. So when you click that, it's going to initialize the program. And then what y'all are going to want to log into is x-ray. And the password for x-ray is x-ray.
X-ray.
Nice.
X-ray, x-ray. Alright,
Oh, I know this.
nice.
Okay.
So, all you really need to get started is a patient ID and a last name. It's recommended to put in more information, of course, for your patient. But if you just really need to study, you can do emergency, and that'll just fill in everything with emergency stuff, urgent, patient, whatever, and then you can go back and change that. So we can just do a test patient, just test for the patient ID, and since I already did a test patient, it's going to pull that information from before. So if y'all have reoccurring patients, it'll pull up previous patients. So it filled in the last name for me already. So start, and then you can choose like what animal it is. And I'm not sure if y'all have noticed, but this screen was changing also as well.
Yeah.
This is just like where you select your patient. So if you had multiple patients like lined up, you can select which ones.
Okay.
Normally it just populates with this one. You can select which techniques you wanted to use over there.
And you can go in order without, I mean, at the same, just 1, 2, 3, click, click, click.
For example, let's just do an abdomen here, and then say, let's do set parameters, and it brought up our abdomen, whatever that we're going to shoot. You still want to measure, but it automatically populates the techniques.
Okay.
And when you do measure, you can change this setting down here, and that will change the numbers up here. So let's say if you have a smaller animal.
Okay.
Yep, there we go. So it changed a bit. And you can also select which animal that you're doing, whether that's a cat, dog, any other things, and it'll change it over there as well.
So we can work from either
Right.
place. Okay.
Yeah. The monitors are connected, so it's all through that. So then select this one, lateral, whatever. You collimate whatever you need it to.
It works.
Isn't that beautiful?
And it's, I believe, LED, so you don't have to replace the light bulb.
Okay. Cool.
And it'll last a long time, and it's bright. That's why I like them. And then, let's see, I'll just turn it down real quick, and then we'll do a quick shot, just so you can see what it looks like over there, and I can show you like some of the, what is it, image changing stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, how fast is fine. Alright, y'all mind if I show you a shot?
Yeah.
Okay. I know some people like to jump out of the room. And to take a shot, basically if you press barely on it, it'll prep. So you'll hear it like spin up. Real quick, we can do new exposure. You'll hear it prep, right? And then you press all the way down to expose. Otherwise, you can just press all the way down. It's gonna prep and expose automatically. you don't have to wait. Some people
Okay.
like waiting. Some people like holding their foot on it until they get just the right breath or whatever, and then just
Okay.
fire.
Okay.
So, you take an image now. So, basic stuff that you can do is change the step. So, let's say you took an abdomen shot, but it was actually a different shot, so you can select what it actually
That's
was. And then that's going to change the processing of the image, because each image is processed differently according to what it's trying to look at,
Right.
basically. You've got your left and right markers, so put it up at the top, left, right, yada yada yada. Flip it, mirror it, counterclockwise. I actually need to flip the image right now, because that reminded me. Right now the images are upside down, so like if I were to put my phone here facing straight, then the image on there would be upside down. I'm gonna flip it in the settings,
Okay.
so then
Okay.
y'all don't have to keep flipping the image
Every
around.
time. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then you have this rectangle, which is like the
Let me go with it.
which is the cropping, basically.
Okay.
It'll automatically crop compared to your collimation.
Okay.
Sometimes if you need to see outside of that, or if it doesn't do a good job of cropping,
Okay.
then you can change that.
All right.
Zoom, class, inverse, edit patient. You can edit the patient information that you already entered
Okay.
for this one. Reset just resets any of the stuff that you changed. There's a lot more tools in this. To get to them, you have to click this little button right here up the top.
Okay.
That'll give you a lot more
Ooh.
and a bigger image so you can work with.
Okay.
Distance, angle, arrows, yada yada yada. You can go on for hours doing all kinds of different things. The main thing that y'all probably need to know is send. So that will send the image to y'all's pack system.
Okay.
I already called Smart Packs, so I got that set up to send to that computer.
Okay. Thank you.
Reject is if you took an image but it's not to your liking, whatever, you don't want to send that to your pack system.
Okay.
It's no good and it has artifacts, whatever. You would hit reject.
Does that delete it from this system, or
It does not delete the images. It saves the image, it just doesn't send it anywhere
Okay.
else.
so we have to send them all individually to be able to
No.
view them elsewhere?
No.
Okay.
So if you take multiple images, and let's say you're finished with your, what's it called?
Like your study.
Your study, you're finished with your study, you're gonna click this X up here, and that's gonna send all your images automatically.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to send each one by themselves, it's just, like, let's say you want to send to a different place than you normally do, then you can send and select where you wanna send
Okay.
it.
So if you're individually reviewing them and you reject one, then when you close out of it, it won't send the rejected image to the pack system.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So let's say you took a bunch of images, then you're looking through them, and then you decide which ones you want to accept and reject or whatever. You can automatically do that right here. So you can reject it from here, and it's going to put a big red mark on it saying that this is trash,
Okay.
whatever. It's not going to actually throw it away or anything like that.
Okay.
It's still going to save it. And you can also adjust like some of the settings up here, I believe. If you maybe no, okay. I'm a
Maybe
liar.
since you already rejected it, maybe it doesn't let you. I don't know.
Maybe you're right. So open a new image.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So let's say you added a bunch of images that you don't need, whatever. Like for example, this one, we're not going to take an abdomen. We already took one, so let's delete that one. It'll delete that since you haven't taken an actual image yet.
Okay.
From there, this is your exposure tab. Everything is pretty much done with exposures in the exposure tab. So once you close out of that, it's going to close it out, and then it should bring you back to registration, but
Okay.
for some reason it didn't. But you're going to navigate all these tabs over here. I'm just going back to let y'all know like the difference between unscheduled, scheduled, and reserved. So what you can do is if you know you have a few different patients for the day,
Mm-hmm.
you can add them all now, like in the
Okay.
morning, add them to reserved. So if you look right here, this says add to reserved,
Okay.
and then that will put it over into this reserved tab, so you can go and select your patient.
Okay, cool.
And you don't have to like type in the patient information every single time. Scheduled is if y'all had a work list. I'm not sure if y'all do, I don't think so. Where if y'all insert a work order, it'll automatically get sent to here and then populate all the patient
I don't think
information.
that works like that. I don't think they talk like that yet.
Right. And then, so that's the registration tab. We already did exposure tab. Database tab is where all your images are going to be saved.
Okay.
You can like search through all your images. So if we go to today, these are our 2 tests that we did. It's going to say 0 images, but I've taken a bunch of images. I just rejected all of them because I don't want them to send anywhere. So we can see that right
Okay.
there. And we can search by the week, the month, whatever. We can type in the patient name. If you want to add a new study, you can do new study. Insert an image. I would recommend only doing that is if the patient had already had an image taken that day, because I believe it changes your study date
Okay.
to the newest date.
Okay.
So if you've taken one like in the past week and then you do new image to that original study,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to change that study date to today's date
Okay.
instead of last week.
Okay.
So in that case, I would go back to registration, type in your patient ID,
Okay.
and start a new study.
Okay.
Um,
So that odd image would be more just like barium studies and stuff, I would think.
edit is edit patient information still. Move an image. Let's say you were just going too quickly and you accidentally took the next pet on the previous pet's study. You can move that image to the correct location, and it'll ask like this location versus this location. It'll ask you to move, just follow the steps.
Okay.
Open study just opens it. Import study, that's if y'all had existing studies that y'all wanted to move into this system. Stitch, I don't think y'all are going to use Stitch. Basically, if you take multiple images of like a full spine, it'll know where to stitch them all together to view a
probably
full
not gonna do that.
spine. Send and multi-send. Send is just sending to packs. Multi-send, you can choose where to send it.
Okay.
Right now I only have it set up for smart packs, which is
Okay.
the one in there. I'm not sure if y'all have other ones.
It would only be our radiologist for our referrals occasionally, which I think we can send those through the online portal anyways.
Okay. Then yeah. Print is printing them, but you don't have a printer attached, but it'll still like, I think save it as like a PDF or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, no images, because
Okay. We
it's
can
rejected.
play with it.
Right. Export is, let's say you wanted to save it to a disk for the patient to
Yeah.
send with them. You can save it to a disk or a flash drive, whatever. That's pretty much it for this tab. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
Viewer is where you can view studies. So if we go back to the database and click on our images down here, or our study, it'll bring it up in the viewer tab,
Okay.
and we can change everything that we want. And if you wanted to view multiple side by side, you can click these layout tabs and you can view like
Okay.
different ones at the same time. And you can just close it up at the top. Print is what that print thing did. Settings, y'all shouldn't have to mess with this too much. It just has like basic settings in here. Let's say you wanted to add different information for your, what's it called? Your DICOM information and your patient setup stuff. you can change that to show like if you wanted to view it or not. Does it make sense? No. Okay.
That's okay. We're just gonna not touch that. Don't touch.
Yeah,
don't
no.
touch that tab.
Yeah, don't touch
No
the setting
touching.
tabs. But even though there is a service login that has other stuff in there that y'all wouldn't have to touch, I'm just letting y'all know that some settings aren't accessible through here. You would have to call service, and then you would have to access that.
Okay.
And then this down here, these two computers, that just means your computer is talking with your panel,
Okay.
your X-ray panel. This over here is your hard drive space. So like if you take more images, more
Okay.
and more images, it's going to start filling up. If it starts getting too full, you'll notice your computer start to slow down a bit. What you can do is buy like a flash drive or a hard drive and plug it in and then hit archive images from the settings in here. I'm not sure which one. I want to say it's DICOM. Yeah, I think that's in the service settings. That's
Okay.
why it was in
Okay.
DICOM. Okay. Yeah, basically you would just archive them from there, and then that'll clear out your hard drive space so you can continue.
At what percentage? Like, is there a regular percentage increment that you recommend doing that? Like, hey, when you hit such and such percentage, go ahead and back up.
How many images do y'all normally take, like, in a month or so?
I don't know.
Would you say that's a lot, a medium amount, little, medium amount?
Yeah.
Okay. Then it might be probably a year, couple years in the future that you would have to maybe worry about that.
Okay. Okay.
Because I think it has a terabyte of storage space,
Okay.
so it's
Okay.
it's gonna take a while.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, once you start seeing that like increment up to like 60-70%, you're
Then
gonna be
think
like,
about it.
oh yeah,
Okay.
let me give them a call, let me see what I can do.
Okay.
And if y'all just buy the hard drive and plug it in, I can remotely log in and set it to send everything,
Okay.
so I don't have to come out and
Okay.
do everything for you.
Okay.
Last but not least is this exit tab. It's just gonna ask if you wanna log off. You would typically log off like after you're done with the study, log off. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you if you wanna log off or not. I think it'll automatically log you off just for like protection
Mhm.
reasons. Exit means that it exits the program.
Okay.
So like you can get back to the desktop if you need to get to the
Okay.
desktop for some reason. Let's say to access images or whatever. Shuts down the whole system, so you can
Okay.
actually shut it down from the application instead of exiting the application and going
And then
down to
close it.
start,
Okay.
shut down, whatever. So you can just do shut down from here and it'll shut everything off, the X-ray included. Don't really recommend touching this on-off power button.
Okay.
I know it's nice green light,
That's very tempting.
right? It basically is your on-off power button for your panel.
Okay.
I get a lot of calls on the daily saying, hey, I can't take an image. I immediately ask them, do you see a green light on your white box? They're like, oh no. Okay, well,
Okay.
turn that on for me. And then they,
So just do everything through the computer if at all possible.
yeah, well, it won't shut this off.
Okay.
So your panel will stay on,
Just
but
leave
it
it
just
alone.
won't communicate with anything, so it'll go to sleep and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
And it has external power. It gets power from this thing, so it doesn't need like to be shut off really.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's about
And
it.
you do recommend shutting the system down every night?
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, it's like you would go to sleep every night. It kind of clears your brain. This clears the RAM.
Okay.
It kind of helps it stay fast.
Okay.
I've had people not shut down their system for weeks, months, and it just drags because the RAM is just so full. It's trying to remember everything, but it can't.
Okay.
So yeah, shut it down at the end of the day. It's pretty simple. Exit, shut down, everything turns off. You're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can change all your settings from here too. Seconds, mass, MA, KVP.
Okay.
You can change what animal you're doing. If any error comes up, you can hit reset error here. It'll clear everything out. HU is heat units. I don't think you'll have to worry about that. It is the percentage of how hot the tube is. So if you're taking like multiple images and a lot of images, it's going to start to heat up. I don't think y'all would get to that point.
Okay.
If y'all do, just keep in mind the heat unit. If it starts getting hot, I doubt it will, but if it does, just take a break.
Take a break. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.